This is a great show, and I'm a great person. I'm a great person. Happy January 11th, America. Yes, January 11th. Just a year ago today, it was also January 11th. I know, never forget. So why is January 11th so important? Because it's this great man's birthday. Yeah, actor, stuntman, little person, R.I.P. Felix Silla. And if you don't know who Mr. Silla is, it's okay. He was often disguised as Cousin It in the Addams Family. Yeah, I know, he was that guy. Anyway, it's his birthday. That's why January 11th is so important to me, another little person, even though we keep... Stop it. But we keep being told the only day that matters is January 6th.
What the Republicans are doing across the country is really a legislative continuation of what they did on January 6th.
Wow. Well, then, Nan, you got nothing to worry about because as insurrections go, that was a bust. So what the hell is she talking about? And not even sure that could be qualified as talking, more like slurring with punctuation. And whoever did her eyebrows should be put in eyebrow prison. They're supposed to be lower than your hairline. And I bet her husband's stock goes up each time she mentions January 6th. She's as predictable as Biden's 3 o'clock nap. Now, we knew the January 6th anniversary was a grift. So in case you were one of the gullible Republicans who thought January 6th was really about remembering, enjoy being patsies. January 6th was a prop, just like Cuomo's giant Q-tip, used to vanquish political adversaries and help the Democrat Party regain political footing by rejiggering the rules. See, the Dems like to do politics the way ugly people have sex, with the lights out.
Oh my God.
And they're going to use the day to prevent rather than enhance election transparency, Emily.
No.
Like you care about ugly people. And Liz and Adam fell for it like Biden on a broken escalator. Today, President Joe endorsed changing Senate rules regarding voting as Dems claim it's the biggest test of America's democracy since the Civil War. But sorry, Joe, this isn't even the biggest test since corn pop. It's just hyperbole. And that's why they have to keep saying it. I mean, no one needed convincing that 9/11 was bad a year later. For January 6th, however, never forget means we all literally would forget unless we make a big deal out of it every year. So now it's January 6th every day as Republicans engage in extreme attacks on our most basic constitutional right, voting. Which is why now Joe pushes a filibuster carve-out, which sounds like a new entree at Boston Market. Kat would know. But now you see the point of the January 6th anniversary. The Dems need an emergency to change voting rules. It's 2020 all over again. And like a serial killer's dog, the media happily played along, joining in on the hysterical messaging. Yes, the messaging. That's what it's all about these days. Gee, I wonder, is the media out of touch with people?
A lot of the media does seem, when I look at it and then travel the country, to be very out of touch with people. If you travel the country, people are not really living in the same bubble that it seems that most of the media is messaging toward. I think this is an issue because if people are tuning out what's going on in cable news, if we're not messaging toward the general population, they're just ignoring everything and living their lives, and we're not really getting the information that they need to them.
Look at that. That's some hairless on hairless action. One more egg and we could have made an omelet. Oh my God, CNN frets. They don't live in the same bubble as we do. Americans are tuning out, ignoring everything. They're going outside and talking to people. Some of them are actually smiling. Yeah, Americans are living their lives and not listening to you, you freaks. And CNN just found out now? Haven't they seen their ratings? Or are they too small to see at this point? Also, do you really believe this hack travels outside the bubble? I bet his idea of seeing the country is grabbing a connecting flight in Charlotte. But this is good news. The messaging isn't working. No one listens to CNN's conveyor belt of lies, which makes sense. Consider the sources. Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon, a guy who ate human brains, a lady who eats crickets on purpose. Let's not forget Tubin. We've been there. And now there's John Griffin, the longtime CNN producer and alleged child trafficker who's been named in a civil lawsuit alleging despicable acts of horrific sexual abuse. Between April and July 2020, Griffin allegedly invited 3 women and their underage daughters over for the purposes of sexual training. And that's according to the latest federal indictment. Yeah, who knew CNN had its own in-house Jeffrey Epstein? And given the time frame, it seems like he was also violating lockdown orders. There's the real outrage. I wonder what's on CNN now.
It's ridiculous to say that we're out of touch.
Yeah, I'm out of touch because my pet iguana goes to private school. Come on.
Now, we know what's going on, all right? I know what the Six Flags is.
Yeah, when Y2K hits, I'll be ready.
Yeah, I tip my Guatemalan butler every time he brushes my teeth.
Yeah, I mean, I unadopted my 1-year-old son because he couldn't spell Green New Deal.
And I always give thumbs up to homeless people. I mean, even in the winter when my thumb gets a little cold.
You are an inspiration. You should be on Good Morning America.
It's an interesting point. So forgive us, CNN, if Americans don't really want any part of your messaging. You're kind of creeping us out at this point. You're the cabled version of the guy who hangs out at the playground but didn't bring any kids. And when you ask him why he's there, he says something like, hey, I've always been fascinated by the monkey bars.
Oh.
Then you ask him which kid is his, and he says, I wish they all were.
Oh.
Maybe that's why CNN was so wrong on Kyle Rittenhouse, because by 17, they've lost interest. But it's more than just their personnel. It's their hysteria conflict-based profit model. January 6th was just one example. While CNN and others gushed endlessly about their own PTSD, the rest of America was like, what? It's the same reliable hysteria they applied to collusion, Covington, Kavanaugh. Remember the classics? That perfect phone call was worse than Watergate. Climate change means the Earth dies in 8 years. January 6th is Pearl Harbor all over again. You see the disconnect between them and you. And it's this gulf between their claims and actual reality that mirrors exactly the gulf between the press and the public they don't understand. And if you listen to CNN, well, it's got to be America's fault, even though they've been so insanely wrong on everything from COVID to crime. The last time they were right, Wolf Blitzer was a mere pup. But you know, maybe CNN should be grateful no one is really paying attention to them, because if America did, imagine what else they'd find. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He may have lost the New York mayor's race, but he always wins our hearts. Woo! Former GOP candidate for New York Mayor Curtis Sliwa. She's living proof you could be a lawyer and not a completely terrible person. Outnumbered co-host Emily Campagno. She's cute, astute, and impossible to mute. Fox business correspondent Susan Lee. And finally, she's like the snow, cold, white, and found all over your driveway in the morning. Fox News contributor Kat Timm. Emily, good to see you and your hair.
Thanks.
Yes, it's quite impressive, that hair.
Main?
You're the main, yes. You are the main event. This is a natural response. I love watching CNN confused by why nobody cares about their opinion after they've been lying for 5, 6, 7 years.
They don't appreciate, too, that the chasm between what they're putting out and what normal Americans are talking about and how they think and feel is getting wider by the day. And to pile on, you know, it's not just them. Just this week, the LA Times put out an article that said mocking the deaths of those who are unvaccinated was ghoulish but necessary. They said it was necessary to temper vaccine skepticism. This was a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist that we're supposed to listen to, that we are supposed to make fun of those who have died because of COVID, because they had, for whatever reason, the decision to be unvaccinated. And that same author, by the way, during the Trump administration said that the emergency use authorization of the vaccine was not to be trusted, that it might kill us. And
right.
that kind of bile is being furthered by the media, and he's rewarded by a Pulitzer and by circulation when a normal American grieves every death, regardless if that person has been vaccinated. And we don't take it upon ourselves to judge or to enlighten someone. That's someone's own decision.
Well put, young lady.
Yes.
She should be on TV. Curtis, how are the cats doing? What do you have, 17, 18?
16. Unfortunately, one of my favorites, Hope, passed to the hereafter this past week. So I've been sitting shiver.
Yeah, really, for the hope. How
I
old was-
actually, you know, even when my mother and father passed, you know, I'm supposed to be the toughest guy in the world. I couldn't cry. I cried 3 hours when Hope passed.
Wow, how old was Hope?
Hope was actually 8, but had terminal cancer. So my wife had rescued her 2 years before from being euthanized, destroyed. She had a great 2-year run, and every night I come back from this miserable campaign of mine as a Republican running for mayor, Hope would always be there. Nobody else would listen to me, but Hope would be at my side.
There you go. There you go. Well, are you hopeful about the state of America? You laughing at my transition?
Yes.
She just started laughing while I was doing a transition. How dare you? I can sense that when it's happening. I'll be looking this way and I can hear her mocking me.
Next time I'll scowl.
Yes. So, are you hopeful that America is getting better now that it's tuning out the legacy media? That's got to be good, right?
Can I give a recommendation
Sure.
for CNN?
Yes.
Now that they're no longer the Cuomo National Network.
Yes.
Thank God, no more Fredo. But if every day could be New Year's Eve at CNN,
Yes, it would just.
every day there could be half in the bag, like we saw Anderson Cooper, like we saw Don Lemon, and especially Andy Cohen. High five, Andy Cohen, was saying, I can't wait for Bill de Blasio to, like, just vacate the scene.
Yeah.
He got chastised, but wasn't that the best?
Yeah, it's actually right. It's the only thing that CNN does that's remotely watchable.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, oh, you get, and Andy Cohen's only on like once a year, and that's it. And they didn't, you know, I kind of missed Kathy Griffin too. Oh, Kathy Griffin, you know, she was kind of entertaining until she did that stupid thing. Susan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Doing great.
Well, okay, so Andy Cohen, I don't think he's being invited back next year.
Oh, he'll be back. No, CNN liked the CNN liked this controversy because it moved the spotlight away from all the weirdness. They were like, you know, what do you make of that? CNN dead? Is it time to just close up shop? You're the business
Isn't that
expert.
kind of what the Biden administration is doing, changing the narrative?
Yeah.
You know, do you think they would be talking about January the 6th or changing filibuster rules if, let's say, the economy was firing on all cylinders?
Right.
Let's say that there weren't inflation problems or supply chain crises here and there. I just feel, but I think it's dangerous, though, because once you open Pandora's box, and you've heard McConnell saying, if you change the filibuster rules, we will defund Planned Parenthood.
Right.
There'll be stricter abortion laws. I just think you have to be very careful in terms of what you're doing up there.
It's weird. It's like they have amnesia. It's like they don't think that this could actually be used against them.
Yes.
You know, it's like it is a, hey, let's do it now. And then it goes bad for them later, Kat. Does that meet your expectations as a question?
It was an excellent question. Really great. I think it's strange to, you know, it's one thing to say, hey, you know, we're not relating to people, but also I think it's the preaching more than the relating.
Yeah.
I think it's that I can listen to something that I'm not perfectly interested in and like make a nice face. I think we can all do that as humans. Like, oh, okay, maybe I learned something and then move on with your day. But it's the telling you how to live your life and that the way you live your life is wrong. If you don't want to get, you know, a new vaccine booster like every 3 months, or
Right.
like you can't go to a restaurant, or if, you know, your mask slips below your nose when you're going out of the house, that you're a murderer. Like, nobody wants to watch something that's repeatedly telling you what a horrible person you are for wanting to do normal human things.
Yeah, and that's what CNN's become. It's become the I hate you network.
Yeah.
And we're returning the favor.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.